Welcome. Today, I want to talk about creating deeper, more meaningful relationships using the GIVER method. Now, today is actually an incredibly special day for me because it's actually my 19th wedding anniversary with my amazing wife. That's 19 years of love and laughter and growth and shared moments that have shaped who we are together. So I want to invite you to stick around because by the end of this video, you're going to walk away with 8 actionable steps that you can use to create deeper, more meaningful relationships using the GIVER method. Now, these are strategies that I would teach you that if we were working together one-on-one, so they're packed with tons of practical lessons to help you in those relationships closest to you. Now, I know that these strategies work because I've been incorporating them into my marriage over the last 19 years. And even though the GIVER method book has only been out for a few months, principles and concepts that are in there about creating those deeper, more meaningful relationships, those what I call relationship bridges, are grounded in the things and the principles and ideas of the relationship and how I've navigated the relationship with my wife over the last 19 years to make it be such a happy, loving, and caring relationship. Now, there's something that I've realized over the years, and that's that relationships will not thrive and do not thrive on autopilot. It takes intention and care, and more importantly, giving in ways that are uniquely yours. A perfect example of this is my wife. She actually has the gift and superpower of being able to help people pick through their thoughts, especially when there's downward spiraling or negative thoughts that could come in, and helping them to get clarity in what they're thinking. Now, this comes into play really well for me because I like to get caught up on topics and ideas where my brain starts to spiral really quickly out of control on the positives, the negatives, the whatever, and I need that grounding in my life. And she brings that superpower into our marriage and into our relationship. And so she is able to show up into those conversations and quickly help me navigate my thoughts so that I get to that point of clear thinking and clarity that I need. But there's so much more that goes into it, and I want to share all of these principles and steps and things that you can do and real examples of the ways that my wife and I use those. Now, that's not necessarily the right fit for every relationship or marriage, but they're key examples, or the principles can be utilized in any marriage. The examples that I'll give are naturally specific to us and could be utilized in any marriage because we've seen how they've had such a drastic impact on our lives. So let me set the stage for you by asking you a few questions. Like, have you ever wondered, though, why some couples grow closer over the years and others drift apart? Well, what if the thing that I told you is that lasting love isn't about a grand gesture, but about how intentionally you share your unique gifts and superpowers with them every single day? And here's a thought that could transform your relationship. Like, what if the key to keeping love alive isn't about trying harder in any way, but about giving smarter through your natural superpowers? Now, since today does mark my 19th wedding anniversary, I want to share this special thought and things with you, and it's not just about my journey, but about how, the principles and such we grounded into the GIVER method to help transform our relationship, but that could be used to transform any relationship into one that grows stronger with each passing year. Now, my name is Jake Talbert. I am the founder and author of the book called The GIVER Method, which is designed to help people to, create deeper, more meaningful relationships that stand the test of time. I'll put the link in the description. You can go get access to it, whether you get it or not. Make it an anniversary gift for me and my wife by going and buying a copy of the book, whatever. Before we dive in, of course, if you are new here, please hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. I don't want you to miss out on any of the high-value content about unleashing your gifts and superpowers and creating more meaningful impact. Not every one of them is going to be directly about me and my wife, but I want to take advantage of today and this video to be able to do that. Now, along with each of the steps and principles or topics that I cover, I'm going to have action items, things that you could go do immediately to start creating a deeper relationship with those closest to you, with your spouse, your partner, whomever that may be. All right? So let's explore what these are, these principles and these steps that will help you to create lasting love through the idea of intentional giving using your gifts and superpowers. And so step 1 is I refer to as the gift of understanding. And that involves the understanding that involves in recognizing and intentionally using your unique abilities to support and nurture your relationship. It isn't about trying to be something or someone that you're not. It's about leveraging your natural talents to create that meaningful connection with them. Whether it's the gift of humor or emotional intelligence or problem solving, like these innate abilities can become such powerful tools for building lasting love. For example, of this, is a superpower that I have and that's the superpower of humor. I performed comedy for 15 years. It may not seem like it may be like, yeah, your videos aren't that funny, but I've always had a way to use humor to lift up anybody's day and put a smile on their face. So I made a promise to myself that I would utilize that superpower every single day with my wife. My goal is to make her smile and laugh as many times every single day as I can. And I must say, I'm pretty damn good at it. Even in our most struggling of times, I have found as many ways as possible to put my humor superpower to use. Beyond just knowing what your gifts are, this idea focuses on understanding how your unique abilities can meet the needs of your partner and the specific needs that they have at any given moment. It's about creating that bridge between what comes naturally to you and what makes your partner feel truly loved and supported from that. So what I recommend you do is that you begin by creating what's your gift love connection map, this clear understanding of how your natural abilities can serve your partner's needs. For example, if you are naturally observant, then use that gift to notice and respond to the subtle changes in your partner's mood or energy. Develop systematic ways to apply these gifts in the service inside of that relationship. This might include regular check-ins where you intentionally use your strengths to support them, or creating specific routines that leverage your natural abilities to build on that connection. The reason being is that when you use your natural gifts, your superpowers, intentionally in your relationship, you create a more authentic connection without strain. Instead of trying to meet someone, trying to meet some ideal of what a partner should be, you bring your genuine strengths into your relationship. This helps maintain consistency in showing love, and when working through your natural abilities, giving becomes sustainable and enjoyable rather than exhausting. Now, the second one that I want to talk about, second thing that you could do, step or whatever, is to create intentional impact focuses. Focus on using your influence thoughtfully to nurture and strengthen your relationships. It's about, involves being conscious of how your words, your actions, and energy affect your partner each and every day. It's about moving from a reactive response to to purposeful choices to build trust and connection with them. It transforms everyday interactions into opportunities to deepen bonds. Rather than letting your influence just happen by chance, you learn to harness it intentionally to create an environment where love can flourish and grow stronger over time. Now, this is something I practice as much as possible. By being tuned into my wife's needs and energy, it allows me to sense when she is stressed or overwhelmed, so that I can decide how can I surprise her with small gestures, cleaning up, folding laundry, taking care of our boys, or whatever it may be, looking for the ways that I could help shift the energy of the day and relieve that stress and overwhelm that she could be feeling. So what you do is you start each day by setting what's your impact intention, and that specific way that you plan to influence and enhance your relationship. It could involve choosing from being extra patient or enthusiasm for something that they're enthusiastic about, or supporting particular situations you'll encounter. Develop an awareness of how your different moods and approaches affect your partner, and then create strategies for maintaining positive influence even during challenging times, and learn to use your natural strengths to lift the energy in the relationship. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not perfect at this. I'm not perfect at a lot of these, but I have intentionally tried and focused extremely hard to work on each of these for all 19 years. And I can tell you that today that our relationship is stronger now than it ever has been, and our love is deeper now than it ever has been. So I highly recommend that you do that, even though sometimes you will slip up. Intentional impact ensures that your presence consistently contributes to your relationship's growth. When you're conscious about that influence, you create an environment where love just naturally deepens and flourishes. It's about, it helps prevent unintended negative impacts in your relationship. By being intentional with your influence, you maintain that emotional safety needed for that lasting connection. Now, step 3 is all about delivering daily value, which involves finding consistent ways to enrich your partner's life through your unique gifts and superpowers. It's not about the grand gestures, but about the accumulated impact of small, meaningful actions that show love and commitment. It's about making, your wife, your partner, your spouse, whatever's life better in ways that feels natural and authentic to you. Beyond just doing nice things, this is about focusing on creating value that specifically resonates with your spouse, with your partner's needs and their love language. It's about understanding what truly matters to them and understanding, using your gifts and superpowers to deliver that value constantly. My wife, for my wife, the consistent value is doing little things for her that I know she doesn't enjoy doing. I fold all the laundry early in the morning and leave it for her in our room so that it's, I tell her the laundry fairy came. And I take the trash out when it's needed. I do the dirty, gross chores because she doesn't want to do them. I find the other ways that I can add value. On top of that, her love language is that just that physical touch. And that's not me. I like just, sitting on the couch by myself, being there. I like being around big groups of people and being, in that moment. And she enjoys that moment of just the hand touch or the whatever. I make it an intentional impact to do that, to create the value by being close and being there with her. So by doing the small actions along the way, it builds upon that. It's not about the grand gesture. So what you want to do is begin by identifying, what are those value points, those value vessels that you can create? What are the specific ways that your natural abilities could create maybe more meaningful value for your partners? Consider both their expressed needs or subtle ways you notice that you could make their life better or easier. And then just think about it. I'm a very systemized person. So what's the systematic approach to delivering value daily? This could include morning check-ins or to identify opportunities. It could be regular acts of service that align with your strengths, or creative ways for you to show love that leverages your unique abilities. Because consistent value, when you deliver it that way, it keeps your relationship growing and vibrant. When you regularly contribute to your spouse's well-being, in meaningful ways, you create a foundation of trust and appreciation. This sort of a idea, this practice or whatever, it helps prevent taking each other for granted. And by consciously creating value each day, you maintain the spark and appreciation in your relationship. Now, step 4 is about building deeper connections with them, which involves creating intentional spaces and moments for genuine intimacy and understanding. This focuses on moving beyond surface level interactions and fostering true emotional closeness. It's about using your gifts to create an environment where both partners feel safe to be more vulnerable or authentic. This approach, it changes the ordinary moments into opportunities for meaningful connection. Instead of waiting for the connection to just happen naturally, you actively create conditions that allow you for deeper sharing and understanding. Like my wife and I, one of the ways that we do this is that we always make it a point, we always go to bed together at the same time. If we're in the same place, we're always, no matter, even though I'm an early riser, she likes to sleep in. She likes to stay up later. I need to go to bed earlier because I like to get up early. We have that constant, we are always going to go to bed at the same time so that we can have that quiet moment where I can hear out what she's saying. I can listen to her. I can provide value. I can, bring some extra humor in before the end of the night. She can hear out things so I don't spiral on thoughts all night and get lost in whatever it is. This gives us that time to unwind and have deeper conversations when everything else is quiet in the house. So start by establishing what is your specific practices that help you move past the surface level interaction into deeper intimacy. It could what's the structured conversation time, shared activities that promote bonding, or regular check-ins designed to foster that understanding. Think of, create, and develop the ways that you can maintain that connection during busy and stressful times. Create rituals and practices that ensure that you stay emotionally close to each other when life gets hectic. Because deep connections are essential to that lasting love. When you consistently create opportunities for genuine intimacy, you build a relationship that grows stronger rather than stagnant over time. Now, this idea, it also helps prevent emotional distance and actively maintains that connection. You ensure your relationship continues to deepen rather than drift apart. There'll be another principle that I'll be sharing some ideas on as well that play into this as well, but I don't want to spoil those ones yet. So step 5 is nurturing growth together, which basically involves creating an environment where both of you can evolve and flourish individually or as a couple. This focuses on using your gifts to support each other's development while growing together in a shared journey. It's about seeing your relationship as a platform for mutual expansion and development. Beyond just supporting each other's goals, it's about emphasizing and creating that synergy between individual growth and relationship growth. It's about finding the ways that your unique abilities help your partner thrive while strengthening your bond together. My wife and I put this into practice consistently. Two times though where it really came into play was, number one, like my wife was working on her bachelor's and her master's degree, and while I wrote the book, The GIVER Method. So like while she worked on her degrees, like she is extremely good at being organized and to the point with what she's writing. But she'd have times where there'd be papers where she needed to elaborate more, or she'd be frustrated about something happening in a class. And I took it upon myself to use my unique abilities to help expand what she's thinking on, to help clear her mind, to help bring positive note to whatever it is that was happening. Well, the same idea when I worked on my book. Well, growth that happens while you're writing a book is intense. And, her being there along the way to be my, as I have ideas or thoughts or things that I need to come up with, like she was always there to help me, process those things through so that I could keep motivated and moving forward. We supported each other the entire way, and we always find the ways to support each other no matter what it is that we're working on. So begin by creating, what are those areas, specific areas where you can support each other's development through your natural gifts. It could be involved using strengths to encourage, to challenge, to assist, them in their personal or professional growth. Develop regular practices for sharing your dreams, for setting goals together, for supporting each other's progress, and creating the ways that make it natural and easy to celebrate growth and navigate the challenges that may come up together along the way. Supporting each other's growth keeps your relationship super dynamic and engaging. When you actively nurture development together, you create a partnership that becomes more fulfilling over time rather than stagnant. It helps to prevent you from growing apart. Intentionally growing together, you ensure that your relationship evolves in ways that strengthen rather than strain your connection. Now, the sixth thing you want to do is you have to maintain there is sacred space and sacred time. This involves creating and protecting emotional and physical environments where your love can thrive. This focuses on using your gifts to establish and maintain those spaces where the relationship feels safe or cherished or prioritized. It's about creating those sanctuaries for your connection amidst all of life's craziness and chaos and noise. It goes beyond just spending time together. It includes the intentionality of designing experiences and environments that nurture your bond. It's about using your unique abilities to create those spaces where both parties can be fully present and connected. Now, I already mentioned earlier that one of the ways that we connect with each other is by, we go to bed at the same time. We always do that. We have those moments to just kind of decompress together. Now, two additional ways that we do that and that we use to maintain sacred space. The first one is date night. Like for us, date night is a sacred time. Even when we were at our poorest of poor and couldn't afford anything more than buying a hot dog and a drink at Costco, we made sure that every week, no matter what, we do a date night. Now, we've got 3 boys. I run a company. She works full time. We both have stuff with church. We have our family. We got our friends. We've got all sorts. We live extremely busy lives. Yet every Friday night, if we're in the same place, it is date night, no matter what. And we always have found a way to make that happen, and it allows us to grow closer to each other. The second one I refer to as the steamy secret to a happy marriage. It's not that difficult. The steamy secret to a happy marriage is that you, on top of I'm going to go to bed at the same time as my wife, I'm also going to always, if she needs to take a shower, I'm going to take a shower, which may sound funny to some people. But when you are together and the world is just shut off, all worldly things are basically stripped away, there's a deep connection that can happen in those moments. And, consider those to be those quiet, sacred times where we get to spend those times together and to connect. So start by identifying what are your sacred moments. What are the times and spaces dedicated to nurturing your relationship? What are the rituals or the practices that, protect these moments from outside distractions or pressures that could come up? And then what are the ways to maintain the sanctity of that, of your relationship space in that? It could include, once again, date nights or morning connection rituals or weekend getaways that align with your natural ways of creating intimacy together. Protecting that sort of a space for your relationship ensures that your connection remains a priority to both of you. When you consistently create and maintain sacred spaces, you build resilience against the external pressures or internal drift that can happen. It helps to deepen intimacy over time, and it helps just, by having these dedicated spaces for connection, you create those opportunities for your love to continuously grow and strengthen. The seventh one is you have to celebrate each other. This involves creating regular practices for appreciation and acknowledgement that keep your love vibrant. It focuses on using your gifts to notice and highlight and celebrate both the small and large aspects of your partner and your relationship. You have to maintain a culture of appreciation in your partnership. Beyond just making special occasions, this principle emphasizes finding those daily ways to celebrate your partner's essence and contributions. It's about using your unique abilities to make them feel seen and valued and cherished constantly. So begin by establishing those specific ways that you can use your gifts or superpowers to acknowledge and appreciate your partner. This could include daily affirmations or weekly appreciation rituals or monthly celebration practices, whatever it may be that aligns with your natural way of expressing love. And then develop what are those systematic ways to ensure that the celebration becomes just a natural part of your relationship rhythm. Create those practices that make it easy and authentic to acknowledge both everyday moments and significant achievements. Regular celebration keeps love fresh and engaging. When you consistently acknowledge and appreciate each other, you maintain that joy and that excitement in your relationship rather than falling into a routine. It helps you to prevent taking each other for granted, and actively celebrating each other, you maintain that awareness of your gift, of the gift of your relationship and of your spouse or partner. And of course, the eighth way is that you have to create lasting memories. You have to intentionally design and capture experiences that build a shared story. This focuses on using your gifts to create those moments that strengthen your bond and become part of your relationship's legacy. It's about how intentional you can be about the memories you create together. You transform everyday experiences into opportunities for meaningful connection and memory making. It's about using whatever your unique abilities are to create moments that you'll both treasure and strengthen your bond over time. I wouldn't have the time to, I don't have the time in this video to actually recount all of the shared experiences that we have together that have become such treasured memories. From big trips we've done, adventures together, to the small, funny, or adventurous, or sentimental moments like, the small, intimate moments of, being on a trip together, or spending hours of just uncontrolled laughter together over a shared joke. It's all become a part of who we are and who our shared narrative is as a couple. So start by developing what are your memory makers? What are the specific ways that you're going to use your gifts to create those meaningful experiences? It could be planning special occasions or creating traditions together, finding the ways to make ordinary moments extraordinary, creating the way to capturing and revisiting these memories together, and develop practices that help you to build upon your shared experiences to create an ever-growing tapestry of connection together. Intentional memory creation strengthens your shared identity as a couple. When you actively create and preserve meaningful experiences together, you build on that connection and you deepen that connection over time. It also helps to create a lasting legacy of love by intentionally creating and capturing those special moments. You build a treasury of those shared experiences that continue to nurture your relationship over time. As I celebrate 19 years of marriage with my amazing wife, I'm grateful how these principles have formed the GIVER method, how they help to create the relationship that we have that grows stronger each year. These principles are not just a theory, they are proven practices that can help any couple to create lasting love. I want to express my deepest love for my wife and the gratitude to her for not giving up on me, and thank her for 19 wonderful years of marriage. And I look forward to all the years to come of new adventures and joy and love and laughter that we're going to have together. Now, my challenge to you is choose one of the things that we talked about today and implement them this week in your relationship. Notice how intentional giving through your natural gifts creates that deeper connection. Now, of course, you can remember, shameless plug, my book, The GIVER Method. It's your complete guide to discovering gifts and superpowers, leveraging them for maximum impact in your relationships. It is built on the foundations of what I've talked about and the foundations of the relationship that I've built with my wife over the last 19 years. So go get a copy, grab a link from the description. If this video resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. Share with someone else whose relationship could benefit from these sorts of details. Leave a comment about maybe a principle that you've already implemented and how it's changed your life, or that you're excited to try, because your share could inspire somebody else. With that, I will say, just until next time, keep growing, keep giving, and remember that lasting love isn't about perfect moments, but about the consistency of giving through your unique gifts. You can take my word from it, from the 19 years of amazing marriage that I've had with my wife, and I once again wish her a happy anniversary. And to you, I'll just say we will catch you in our next video. Have a great rest of your day.